Hi, welcome everyone to Tiffin University's first Overwatch game of this season of 2023. I'm going to pass it over here to my other co-host, Benny Baby. He's going to be introducing the team we're playing against and our players.
Beautiful to be here, Boosted OG. Thank you so much. And going into the very first game of TU's Overwatch season of 2023, I'm very excited to see how this is going to turn out. Playing against the University of Mount Union today. I'm very excited now. For those who are a little bit new to Overwatch, the competitive scene, etc., a new game just got released last year towards holiday season, and now there's a lot of things that have changed. They've cut a whole player slot from the team, so now it's 5v5 instead of 6v6.
Yep, so it's actually one tank instead of two. So that's actually it's a very interesting dynamic to see how the game actually plays when you remove that one tank.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, it just kind of enhanced it a little bit. Kind of a lot more, a lot more fighting, a lot more team fights with that instead of just trying to keep people alive. But again, I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I know that every single team in the GLEC, including TU, has been very hard at work trying to learn the new mechanics of the game. It's kind of the same thing, but it's there's a lot to take into account when it gets into that.
Yeah, so with TU's team, we actually we kind of reformatted a lot of it. We have our boys Cream and Carl on tank, really heading that team fighting aspect of the game, and then we have two new players actually who just joined our roster. It was Super Tiger and Fallen on our DPS lines, and we have two veterans that any fan of Tiffin University will notice, Zepsi and Spoopy Goopy on support.
Yes, sir. Yes, wonderful players. I don't know what they're ranked, but they're just good.
Amazing players, amazing people.
Wonderful, yes. And as we're going to be getting into here very shortly, game one, do we know what the map is yet?
I'm not too sure. I believe they said they were starting on Oasis because it will be King of the Hill first.
Okay, King of the Hill.
Yep.
And for those who don't know too much about Overwatch, how does King of the Hill usually run?
So King of the Hill, there are 3 different points on like one map, and it cycles through the rounds. So as you see here on the top left there, it shows the picture of Oasis. That's one of the points. And then on each like section of the map, there's one point that each team has to fight to gain and then keep control over.
Okay, perfect, wonderful, and going in here to the first game. Hopefully it gets started up soon, but we have our roster here on the very left. That's going to be TU's team, Super Tiger, Fallen, Cream, Swoopy, Goopy, Pepsi. Now, I know that Cream's going to be playing on the tank role, but what is everyone else's role going to be for this game?
So if you look above Cream right now, Fallen and Super Tiger are going to be our DPS players. So they're going to be the ones really focusing on getting those final blows and actually like dealing the damage to secure kills. And then down below Cream, as you see, you have Spoopy, Goopy, and Zepsi. They're on our support roles. So they're really focused on like assisting our team on making plays and then also keeping them alive because healing is a very big part of the role.
Very, very, very important. And on top of that as well, I'm very excited to see how this DPS is going to go. Coming from last year, I know we've seen some wonderful talent, such as I know Kurt on the teams there. But now Fallen and Super Tiger here, got new blood in the game. I'm very excited to see what they're able to pull off here. And then on the right there is UMU's roster, as you can see there. Now, I'm unfamiliar with the players. Do you know who's more than likely probably going to be playing what role?
So I assume that it would be reflective against TU. So the middle one, Crabmeyer there, I would assume he's playing tank, and then Pineapple King and just a Baloop. They would be supports, and then you would have Colossal and Opposite on DPS. That's just me assuming. I'm not too sure. This actually does look like a completely new roster for UMU. This is I am not familiar with actually any of these players. So it's going to be a very interesting game to see how it works. And I'm actually really excited to see how these the new bloods on Tiffin University's side are actually going to be performing with this veteran crew that we have here of Cream, Spoopy Goopy, and Zepsi.
I know, I'm really excited to see, Zepsi, Spoopy Goopy, hold the line down, especially that support. Very, very excited to see that. Off of Fallen and Super Tiger, though, I know you've been practicing with the team a lot. What are you most excited to see then coming out of them? And what have you seen with what they've been able to present so far?
So one of the things I'm actually the most excited about seeing, and I don't think we're going to end up seeing it on this map, but if we ever get to like Escort, I know that in the map pool there's a lot of the longer range maps. I'm really excited to see the Widowmaker coming out of Fallen. He's proven himself in practices and in scrims that he is able to hit those shots, especially the more challenging ones, and he's able to create a lot of space for our team to actually push up and then initiate in a team fight.
There in the shot, I just can't even talk. It's such an amazing thing to see. I'm really excited. If he pulls that out, if we'll be able to see that there. But yeah, just getting some things situated here before we go into one. What are you feeling about predictions for this game? Do you feel
predictions for this game? Like I said, I am not familiar with this UMU roster. It looks like a completely new roster. So honestly, I have no clue what I'm looking at going into this game. I know that Tiffin's lineup here is it's a veteran squad with two new bloods, but two new bloods that have proven themselves to be capable of doing their job in their respective roles.
100%. Totally agree with you there. And I think, are they just... Alright, they're just switching their team little icons. I'm pretty sure that...
It looks like Zeps is there trying to get the old 2018 Valiant icon on there for Tiffin, representing the green and gold. You know, our school's colors.
Guns. I'm really... how many games does... have for the season for Overwatch? 10 out, right? Or
I'm not too sure. I remember looking at it. I believe I think majority of the weeks. I want to say 5 of. I'm not too sure how many weeks there are. I want to say 13, 12 weeks. Yeah. 5 out of those 12 weeks, we actually have double headers. So it will be
5.
Yes. So 5 of the 12 weeks that we're going to have double headers.
Tough time. I mean, it's just going to be a long day when those come around, but, you know, everyone's got to have those every once in a while. And, I mean, once you have 5 of them, you know, once you... But yeah, getting in here, the first...
All right,
I did not know that. Pineapple King with the fun fact there.
Alrighty, it looks like they're trying to get ready to get into this game here. So we're just waiting on both teams here to actually get ready and start the game. But while we're sitting here, I know that you used to practice with this Overwatch team. What are your favorite changes that you've seen going from the 6v6 format of Overwatch 1 to the 5v5 format of Overwatch 2?
I mean, to be 100% honest, I've played a decent amount of... with it being one less tank, you do lose a lot of that factor of just trying to shoot shields constantly, and you have a lot of when you had the 2 tanks, you had a lot of players a lot of teams that would just stay up. You know, now when you have the 1 tank, as soon as the tank falls, I could be completely wrong. Whenever the tank falls, it feels like the fight's kind of over. You need to regroup or do whatever. And with the supports kind of main focusing on tank, it kind of just focuses everything to that. When you have 1 tank you have to worry about instead of 2, and everyone can just target that 1 tank. I feel like it would make team fighting a lot more easier in that retrospect, and then fights just keep happening. That's my personal take on it. I am not play this game at all much, but I know enough to speak on that.
I guess I could get in here a little bit. I would say my favorite change from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 is the overall pace of the game, the way that the game actually, how fast it plays. Overwatch 2 is a much faster game than Overwatch 1 is. There were a lot of times where you would just be prepping, scouting, getting ready for a fight, just waiting on that first pick to come in, so that way you could actually go in there and waiting for that first pick to actually go in there and then initiate that team fight, so that you would actually have some sort of advantage into it. It seems like there's a lot of team fights in Overwatch 2 where that process of scouting and getting ready for a pick is it's expedited more. It happens a lot faster, and you actually see team fights happening a lot faster. So you have more team fights more often, and it actually, in my opinion, it leads to a more interesting game to actually watch and play. But it actually looks like we're getting into the first map. The first map is going to be Oasis of the Day. Personally, it's one of my favorite Koth maps, and I'm excited to see what the Tiffin University Esports roster is going to be picking here.
Now, with these King of the Hill maps, they typically have the same type of area and kind of design aesthetic to them, but they're kind of three different maps all in one, more or less. You pretty much have to do a best of three just to secure that here. And going 10 seconds here, I'm very excited to see how this is going to come out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm just so excited.
If I'd have to guess, I would say that the Tiffin University Esports roster is going to be, yep, right there, running a Reinhardt. That is something that we are actually notorious for, is running around a Reinhardt comp. And then, as you see, we're going for a little bit more spam to help that Reinhardt shield out, so that way people can't just run right over him with that Junkrat. We're going to have a little bit of flank pressure with the Tracer just going around trying to pressure out that the Mercy and or the Kiriko, and then we have a Kiriko and BAP on our side, because notoriously Reinhardt likes to just blow up when they take damage. As a Reinhardt player myself, I know that's happened a lot, where you just kind of walk forward and that 1200 shield goes away, and then you're just out of there, you know, you blow up.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the first fight of Overwatch season of 2023. Looks like Cream's going to be going in, trying to take some space here. We'll be giving support from Spoopy and Zepsy, but it looks like Mount Union is going to be taking the high ground here. Trying to signal maybe do a drop on him, but they don't see the flank. Fallen on the left there, trying to keep the aggression on.
Oh, what a spear from Colossal right there on the Orisa out of the Mount Union side here. It looks like they're actually starting to put pressure on the point here. Cream's electing to play the back left side of the point here, actually hitting that pin, going in. He gets speared over towards the two squishies, being the Echo and the Mercy, and he just helps Fallen clean up right there. And that looks like with a fight win for Tiffin University Esports going here right now. Fallen with the 4K, the absolute maniac on that Tracer here. It looks like he's going for a little cheeky spawn camp here, trying to pick off one of those squishies as they walk out. Let's see if he can actually go for that.
I don't know if it would be ideal, but he's 83% off of his pulse bomb here. So if he's able to get at least one,
Super Tiger getting the pick onto that Kiriko right there. Absolutely mad lad.
Fallen finds his chance here, going to be taking shots onto the Echo. Close but no cigar.
The Junkrat taking out that Sojourn right there on the side of Mount Union. It looks like it's going to be another fight win for Tiffin University Esports right there.
Now we're here resetting into the fight. Mount Union with about 50% of the percentage for Tiffin University here. Not really looking favorable for them in this round. And as Super Tiger pulls out the ult here, we'll take the Echo down.
Getting a Riptire onto the Echo, and that's going to actually push in more than likely another fight win in Tiffin University's favor.
And you can see it here. Mount Union just has to fall back into their spawn now. They stay contested here. They're going to try to be doing something here as they push out as a team. They are close to ults here. I'm really excited to see what happens.
Now, I'm actually looking to see a window come out of Zepsy right here to actually help with the pressure as they push forward. And there's that window that we're talking about. It's forcing Mount Union's side to actually back up back into their spawn to avoid that amplified damage. And that is a massive shatter on Cream right there, taking out 3 people on Mount Union's side. I swear, this man shatters. He's always going for him, constantly. Whenever he has him, he's just... And he's always hitting at least 3 or 4 people. Okay, we have the rush coming out of Spoopy Goopy here, and that actually secures point 1 for Tiffin University.
You can catch it there in the last second. Looks like Pineapple King, the UMU's Echo, was really trying close as much as possible to just go and touch. But again, just not enough time, and that's the first round here.
That's an easy, clean 100-0 for Tiffin University right there on point 1. Now, this is a point here that actually has a dominant of high grounds on it. So I'd like to see how they're going to actually play this Reinhardt around those high grounds. So because you can have that...
They're switching over to Doom?
Oh, they're playing a Doomfist comp here. Okay. This is actually a first for me. I really have not seen much Doomfist come out of the Tiffin University Esports roster, but I'm excited to see it. Doomfist is one of those characters that, you know, like... Everyone likes to just dog on Doomfist, being like, oh, you're just going and feeding. But when you got those Doomfists that are hitting some of these clips, I mean, some of these people can just make Doomfist look like an absolutely unstoppable force.
And Cream has the potential for it, and going into this first fight here, looks like Fallen and Cream are going to be trying to take the first aggression. Pineapple King flying in the air, but it looks like Super Tiger is going to take down Kirio. The trades are coming in left and right, but Tiffin comes up on top.
Falling to Pineapple King there, but Fallen trading that out easily, and then you have Zepsi picking up that pick onto the Sojourn right there, opposite, and Cream also just Cream and Fallen cleaning up the rest of those kills, getting ready for fight 2. Let's see where they're going to actually set up here for this next fight. I'd like to see how this Doomfist is going to engage, because there's a couple different ways that he could. He can go right up above and then punch enemies into his team. If the enemy team is looking to go left side, he could try to posture in a way that he could maybe get a slam in to punch them right off the map. You always love to see those environmental kills.
Always, all the time. Here we go into the next fight here. And what I'm really liking seeing here is Fallen's just going for it, man. He's profiting most of all of his engagements. There he goes. He will fall down, but Spoopy will be taking down Crabmire. That does drop a support for you and you.
There goes Immortality Field down for Zepsi. Opposite picking up the kill onto Zepsi. It looks like there's 2 more people on the side of Tipping University. Mount Union may just need to clean this up.
And Pineapple King taking down the tank for TU. Cream falls here. And now pretty much Tiffin's just left to contest as much as possible.
Basically just stall, try to get as much time on that clock as they possibly can.
Oh, he's so close to getting 1, if not 2 there, but Opposite just has to take Swoopy down. And now it's TU's turn to kind of retake the hill here and see what they have to do that with. They do have...
they do have a Tracer Pulse Bomb on Fallen here, and they're getting close to a window for Zepsi. So I'm excited to see how they're going to use these. However, Mount Union does have a Kitsune Rush. They're very close to an Echo Copy, very close to a bomb. They're actually almost close to all 5 of their ults. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see the counterplay here, because they are running that D.Va, so they might actually know. Oh, and Fallen gets taken down by Opposite. Now they're going to be... Mount Union is going to be popping the Kitsune Rush to actually put pressure on the Cream here. Tiffin University actually counter-pops their Kitsune Rush, and it's all up to Super Tiger and Cream here to just really pick up these final kills. They need to be looking at the Mercy, though. She's keeping the rest of her team alive. That's actually very bad. You know, you can't really kill anybody if you have a Mercy just sitting there pocketing you.
That was a really great rollout there from Super Tiger. Was able to take 3 down to kind of secure him in the hill there.
Cream does go down, but Super Tiger pops. Oh, and the Tiger goes down to Opposite. Opposite's really putting in some work here for that Mount Union squad.
Yes, and it looks like 2 players are down in TU, and they're just kind of taking their losses. Trying to pull back here, and they have 1 more chance here, I think, for 1 more fight, and we'll have to see what they can do with this here. It looks like Mount Union is electing to take the high ground a lot here.
And that would make sense here. The comp here that Tiffin has is really centered around a brawl, and it's going to be really hard to actually get the whole entire team, just like I was saying, up to that high ground without 1 or 2 people maybe possibly getting picked off by that railgun shot from Sojourn. It's actually it's a really oppressive ability that actually has caused me to really just dislike that character itself.
100%. Here we go into overtime for the second round here. Mount Union trying to hang on to the point as much as possible, but Tiffin is still hanging on, trying to secure it. And it looks like they only have to take care of the D.Va here. They're going to take her down and secure the hill for the team. Beautiful what to see there from Super Tiger.
Alrighty, that was actually a very, very good fight, because going into that, we didn't have any ults. And Mount Union actually had that copy there. But with some great target focus from the side of Tiffin University, we were able to melt down that copy and then eventually take that fight win. Going into this next fight here, Mount Union actually has 0 ults, and it looks like Fallen was going for the cheeky pulse bomb play, but he sadly misses it, does not secure a kill here. Let's see what their plan is here going into this next fight.
And you also can take note here, Kareem ended up switching off of that Doom to play Orisa here, a little bit more favorable towards their comp in the situation here. And it's wonderful to see now Tiffin has to hold down the point here, and it looks like it is no problem whatsoever.
Oh, a D.Va bomb coming out of Colossal. It connects with nobody, and they actually pick up that kill before she remechs. And it's just a little bit of cleanup here after all. They got 3%. They're going to play forward to make sure nobody can touch that point. And they're going to secure map 1 on Oasis here. That is a map victory for Tiffin University.
Wonderful to see here, and exactly what you were talking about with Super Tiger and Fallen before we started here. What I was seeing was insane here, and this is going to be a wonderful showcase of the game today. You see Super Tiger just going in towards the end of this round of the first. Was it the first round? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. All he's doing is really sitting back and just letting simple geometry take hold with those easy arcs, and it's just going in there, and people end up just kind of walking into those mines, you know? And just, that's a lot of damage with those explosives.
Exactly here. We're going to be going into map 2 now. Since UMU ended up losing, or Mount Union, sorry. Since they ended up losing that first one, they actually get the choice for the second map, right?
They do, yep. So whoever loses the map prior gets to pick the next map, and it alternates like that, going back and forth for whoever lost. So say Tiffin University wins this next map, then it'll go to the whichever map. So this one, I believe, is going to be hybrid, I think. And so we have a choice of maps between like Kings Row and maps like that, where you have that central capture point where it's similar to control point with Koth, and then once they capture that point, then it actually opens up a payload, and you have to push the payload to the rest of the map. But it was a pleasure chatting with you, Benny Baby. I actually have one more person who's trying to get up here in this caster booth with me. It was actually the man himself from last game. It's Super Tiger. So I hope everyone gives Super Tiger here, as he comes into the caster booth, a warm welcome. Happy to have him here.
Wonderful. And on top of that as well, we're going to take a small coaching break as well as we get things switched around and the teams get situated. We'll be right back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I have the Super Tiger here with us. Arguably one of the MVPs from last match, getting that play of the game. Tell me, what was going through your mind on some of those maps, especially that first one where you're just lobbing in those grenades, just picking up these kills left and right?
I mean,
you're almost making it look easy.
As you saw in the play, I mean, it kind of looks like I'm just shooting blindly. You know, I'm getting these kills from across the map, but it actually takes a lot of calculations to know where all the bullets bounce and things. But yeah, no, they just weren't in a very good position there, so I took advantage of it and got some kills where I could.
Alrighty. So it looks like we're actually going into map 2 right now. Map 2 being a hybrid map, being Kings Row, that actually, in my opinion, it is the fan favorite of Overwatch. Everyone loves to see good old Scrims Row here. I'm actually very, very intrigued at seeing if Tiffin University is going to run that Reinhardt. It looks like they are, just like they did on
good
point one.
Old Cream Reinhardt on Kings Row. There's nothing better than that.
Nothing better. Seeing those nasty 5-man shatters, hearing it's huge. Just something classic coming out of the good old Tiffin University esports arena. So it looks like Tiffin right now is electing to run that Reinhardt comp. Very similar comp to the one that they ran last, but it looks like instead of the Junkrat, they're running that Mei.
They got this wonderful Mei here to wall off some opponents that go through this choke point, and then Ryan can just clean up the enemy team.
Oh my god, you love just sitting, breaking out that line of sight to make sure whoever crosses through that choke is just going to blow up immediately. And then you can just actually transition that right into an aggressive push to start cleaning people up and then reset right away. So it looks like Mount Union is actually electing to run a Zarya comp. They're running the Zarya Reaper comp. And I'm actually very intrigued to see how this is going to play out, because if you remember correctly, right in Season 1 of Overwatch 2, this was actually the big meta comp that was out running through the rank ladder. And it was kind of impressive until the developers actually put some nerfs onto Zarya herself.
Yeah, you don't really see too many Zaryas nowadays in some higher level play, but it's great to see it here. Let's see if they can make it work.
Alrighty, it actually looks like Mount Union here is running that Zarya Hanzo, so I'm assuming at some point during this game we're going to see a Graviton Surge Spirit Dragon combo. And that is one of the most classic combos in all of Overwatch right there. You love to see it when it happens. Everyone gets hyped when they see it, well, except for the team that's getting Grav Dragon, you know? Yeah,
yep, exactly.
Alrighty, so it looks like
big shatter by Cream.
Shatter right there coming out of Cream. Oh my god, what a maniac! Just swinging the hammer, cleaving everyone in his path. Oh my goodness, you love to see it. Oh, and it looks like Tiffin right here is going for a
sneaky play here on the stairs.
Oh, and it looks like Mount Union actually swapped to mirror that Reinhardt. They were saying that Zarya is not for us, but it looks like Colossal actually.
Oh, and they walled him in.
They walled and trapped him in there. Let's see how well this is going to go for Mount Union here. The lamp comes down for Mount Union, but it actually does not really save them that much. 2 falling for Mount Union.
Stick on the ride.
Going 4 fallen with that pulse bomb, picking up another one, and Cream finishing up the last.
Dude, it was looking a little scary there.
It was. I was not too
thought
sure
after that
actually what I was
wall was
watching.
done, but made it back.
So it looks like Mount Union's coming into this fight with an Earth Shatter, a Window, and a Dragon. What I'd like to see them do is, you know, use that Dragon proactively to try to split up the roster here of Tipping University.
Another big shatter by Ride.
When Cream just absolutely drops the hammer down on 4 people and allows his team to just clean up through every single one of them.
You don't see plays like that every day.
No, you do not, because most of the time you're seeing these Orisa gameplays. You know, that, like, Orisa might be a good character, but come on now. There's nothing better than a giant Earth Shatter coming out of a Reinhardt.
Juicy slam from Cream.
Alrighty, it looks like Mount Union is, again, pushing up to the choke, trying to break this hold that Cream has there. They're just absolutely trying to break this down, trying to get any sort of space created. Oh, it looks like Spoopy Goopy teleports in to help save Fallen. It might actually be the end of him, but he climbs up that wall. He gets Swift Step back, and he teleports out.
Wow, that was really risky there, but it worked out for him.
So it looks like Tiffin University here is actually going to be falling back here to reset, ready for it. They have that May freeze, the cryo freeze, and they have the Kitsune rush coming out of Spoopy Goopy here. What I would like to see them open with here is that nice blizzard, but they're actually going to fall back as Mount Union opens up the window.
They rush into the blizzard there.
And the window. And Cream.
And another slam by Cream.
Shattering everybody.
Only 10 seconds here.
10 seconds
You don't have a mic there?
No, my mic is not working. Like, you know, Mount Union broke that they had there, and
Yeah.
it's not working, but they tried breaking in, they got into overtime. You see Colossal at Wrecking Ball.
Score 0-0. Switching sides.
TU with a great hold there.
TU with a perfect full hold on.
Initiating match.
Alrighty, just double checking that my mic is working right now. Sorry about that, guys. It actually seemed to die right there in the middle of the match. But I'm actually really, really excited to see Tiffin's attack here on first point. Because all they have to do, since they got that full hold, is walk in and get 1 tick on that point. They don't even need to capture the whole thing. They only need 1 tick.
Precisely 33.3% of the point they need to capture on this first one. So not a whole lot TU has to do here, but let's see if they can secure it.
Alrighty, it looks like they are still electing to run that Reinhardt, but instead of the Tracer, like I was saying earlier with Benny Baby, I was really excited to see this today, as you have Fallen on that Widowmaker.
Yeah, it's very oppressive there. He actually switches to Cassidy here. Oh, back to Widow.
Back to the Widow,
Yeah,
though.
very oppressive with sight lines and things with these Widow plays.
He wants that
It's
opening
very
pick, and it
scary.
looks like he's looking right at the Echo.
Looking out the spawn doors, trying to gauge where the enemy team's going to hold here.
Now, we see a lot of games on King's Row that first point is inevitably won by just an opening pick on a Widowmaker on attack. You know, the Gladiators had a whole strat where they would wrap around the entire enemy team, push them into that open, and then have their Widowmaker peek out and get 2 or 3 picks, and then just win the fight. But here he is. He's trying to get some of those picks, but not actually connecting with any of these shots. We're moving down here to see what the core is doing. You have Kareem here fighting the Reaper. Reaper looks, oh, he's forced to use that shift to get away, and Tiffin's going to use that as a advantage to actually push forward and take some of that space onto the point. Oh, massive anti-nade coming out of Spoopy Goopy there. It actually allows us to pick up a kill on both of the DPS.
Crater shining!
Picking up a 3K, taking out both DPS in that tank that allows Tiffin University to win King's Row. Just absolutely amazing. Textbook Overwatch coming out of Tiffin University right here. And oh my god, am I so ready
one of
to
these
see
big
this
slams from Cream.
Walks forward,
charges it,
charges the Reinhardt, and boom!
Oh my
a 3K
god!
shatter, picking up everyone, cleaning up the rest of the Mount Union crew here. Now we have possibly one more map because this is a best of 5. Yes. So possibly if Tiffin University can win this next map here, then they can take it all home.
Well, let's hope that they do this. Mount Union's they're in a tough spot here, being down 2-0, but
yeah, they must be really feeling that pressure to at least bring one map home for Mount Union. You know, traditionally they have been, you know, our closest friends and the one team that we really want to beat so bad because you know we do have that relationship with them. But any comments on just the absolute Chad energy coming out of our in-house Reinhardt player, Kareem?
Oh my god, Kareem, he's such a great teammate to play with. He just gets the energy really going, especially when he hits those slams. You hear it echoing to different states. Big slam! It's huge! It's just... there's nothing else like it. I mean, Kareem's really one of a kind.
The energy he brings to this Tiffin University roster is something that, honestly, it cannot be overstated. Genuinely, he gives the morale to our players to actually be able to go in and do the jobs day in, day out that they need to do, and have the confidence that, you know, their tank is going to perform and hit these shatters that he is known to do.
It's also a great... I mean, being the tank, you need to have that leader.
Okay, but it looks like we're going on escort here to Route 66. And it actually looks like they took Kareem out here in place of Carl on tank. I'm very interested because I know Carl has a wide range of tanks that he likes to play, but more times than not, he usually elects to play that off-tank role rather than the main tank. So playing those Sigmas, those Divas, and then, you know, from time to time, he is known to pull out that wrecking ball every now and then.
Ball gameplay. He'd love it.
But it actually does look like Tiffin is electing to play a poke comp here, going with the Orisa Fall. Actually, my bad. This is not actually a poke comp. This is actually going to be a brawl comp because, as you see, we have that Reaper there to front load damage with that Orisa, and then you have the Zen to just focus down that Discord Orb on whatever tank is out there to just melt them down as quick as possible.
That Discord Orb is so crazy nowadays when you only have one tank.
I know a lot of Zen players that I've seen, including myself, I really don't take the Discord Orb off of the tank. I just leave it there, and I just let my team shoot at them, because the more damage that tank is going to take, I mean, the easier it is for us to be able to kill them. Oh, Spoopy Goopy being taken down by Just Baloop, the Kiriko on Mount Union side. And actually, it looks like Mount Union just has to clean up here for an easy fight win against Tiffin University. But it looks like TU is just trying to stall as much as they possibly can, but sadly, no avail.
That opening pick on the on Spoopy Goopy there really hurt TU there, because they had to try to back up right as soon as the pick got taken.
All right, but it looks like we're actually swapping over to a dive comp here with the Genji and Wrecking Ball, and I'm really excited to see this Wrecking Ball gameplay come out of Carl here. It's the real pick that he's actually real known for playing. If you go to look at his Twitter, I mean, a shameless plug here, but it's at CCAARRRLLLL. That's 2 C's, 2 A's, 3 R's, 4 L's. You'll see a lot of Wrecking Ball clips. He actually has a montage out, pretty good. Just, you know, trying to hype up my man out there. But as you see, him and Crater going in there for that dive, picking up the kill on that Kiriko, ultimately pushes Mount Union back into their spawn, and they have to regroup for another fight. Alright, it looks like Carl here is setting up for a possible boop off the map on
Ball shenanigans about it.
just doing some ball shenanigans here. Just looking for a possible just space that he could get in there and just maybe pick somebody off. But it looks like Mount Union here is electing to dive onto the gas station, onto our supports, but it looks like we have enough peel with our DPS players to actually sit there, protect them, and then pick up 2 kills on the Echo and Mercy of Mount Union.
I see you there, recognizing that they're diving in on the healer. At that.
Alrighty here, and it looks like Mount Union is now trying to push up for the cart, but it looks like we're nearing on a Dragon Blade here. Let's see if we will use it to win this fight. But it does not look like we need it. We used the ball mines there, and it was enough to actually secure 2 kills.
Gotta have Nano and Dragon Blade. Right, so we may see some cool.
I'm hoping we see the classic Nano Blade coming out of TU here. You know, Crater with these blades, now he doesn't use them very often, but when he does use them,
it's always
he's known to pick up at least 3 or 4 kills with them, and it's always a great time watching a Genji just frag out with that blade.
Very precise.
But as you see, on Mount Union side, they do have a Kitsune Rush and a Duplicate coming out of Pineapple King and just the loop, and I'm wondering how they're going to use that to possibly open up some space before TU just goes in and absolutely
demolishing Mount
through the
Union.
Competition. Oh
The
my
5K
God.
from Crater.
The absolute demon with the Dragon Blade. Oh my goodness. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we have this man on the Genji. He knows his way around that sword.
The power of that Nano Blade is just too immense.
As you see, 12 seconds left on Mount Union's clock. They are popping. Oh my goodness, but they counter with a visor, taking out Zepsi, forcing the core of Tiffin University back. Actually picking up both supports from TU side. They're actually going to manage to get a little bit more distance pushed on this cart.
Crater with the pick on Pineapple King, though.
Well, that may open up a slot for Carl to come in and do some shenanigans, but they do end up getting that res on Pineapple King, so that's going to actually more than likely force a regroup on Tiffin University's side.
Has 2 ults here and use Spoopy Goopy.
Oh, they're engaging there with the Wrecking Ball mines, picking up the Mercy kill. Let's see if Carl can actually take out this
into
soldier.
the mines there.
Alrighty, Crater falls, but Zepsi and Carl picking up kills on both DPS. This is looking like a fight win for Tiffin University here, as long as they can just end up to clean up this Sigma here. But he is contesting for a while. This actually may, but it does not give them another chance to touch.
Another first point hold for Tiffin University.
Score.
Maybe Mount Union can mount some type of morale boost in defense, because it's not looking too sharp.
Initiating match.
I mean, they need to do something here, because it just seems like any number that Mount Union has, Tiffin University has got it in their book. They know what they're looking for. They know what to capitalize on. And it seems like every fight that's really happened has gone Tiffin University's way, except for maybe the 1 or 2 fights where one of our players has been picked off first.
I think it all just comes down to ult usage,
For battle.
knowing when and how to combo those ultimates together, because clearly all those Nano Blades, they had something towards the end of that last fight with the visor where they got a pick first, but no avail once again.
Oh my goodness. Can we just stop here and talk about that blade from Crater, though?
That 5K
that
blade
5K
from Crater.
blade as they rushed to get up to... I think they windowed, didn't they?
Yeah, they windowed, he slashes through into them and gets something like 2 kills on that first swing.
Absolute maniac. But as you see, we have Spoopy Goopy on the Tracer here, so it looks like they're running a full dive. We have Fallen on this Lucio, and I don't know if you know anything about Fallen, but he is a pretty good Lucio. I'm excited to see if he pulls any cheeky strats out. I'd like to see a C9 come through if possible, maybe.
Ball knocks them
but
all down off the high ground there.
Insane boop off the high ground for the Wrecking Ball. It looks like they're going to isolate the supports up top, but they actually pick off Mount Union's tank, and it leads to another kill on one of their DPS. Oh, but it looks like opposite right there, finding the kill on Fallen, but Spoopy Goopy and the rest of the TU crew coming through to clean up the rest, and that is some easy hard push for Tiffin University. It looks like we're going into last fight territory here. If they are able to touch, I believe the Monkey and Echo are going to be the only two that are going to be able to touch in time.
As Echo gets picked off by Zepsi, the DPS Mora.
All they need to do is focus fire down Colossal and keep the Kiriko and Ash from touching. But it does look like the Kiriko there is going to get on the cart and touch, but they're going to take them down immediately. And that is another map win for Tiffin University. Absolute mad lads.
Just a show of perfection, really, by Tiffin University.
Oh, and here comes
Crater Nanoblade.
The Nanoblade out of Crater. He dashes through, gets one, gets two, gets the third, dashes up to the Echo copy, kills the copy with dash, comes back down and slices her.
Jeez.
And then easy cleanup on the Mercy for the 5K out of Crater.
Team kill from Crater.
Alrighty, well, so that was our last map for a win for Tiffin University Esports for this set. 3-2-0. I'm really excited to see this group of guys come together and play for the remainder of the games that we have this season, especially after the showing we had today with the absolute insane Earth Shatters coming down. The 5K out of Crater, Dragon Blade. You had some really cool plays that we didn't really necessarily get to see in the game, but I picked up on. You had like a 3 or 4K anti-nade coming out of Spoopy Goopy on King's Row there that allowed them to push up and take space on the point. Like plays like that are really like undervalued. They're not really noticed that much because they're not as flashy as those big blades and the big shatters.
They still make a giant impact though.
They make
when they're
huge impact.
Stops all healing there, but again, you coming out with the victory there against Mount Union. Both very great teams.
Honestly. And even though it was a 3-0, Mount Union still played very well.
Ground.
It just seemed like anything they tried doing, Tiffin University was ready for it. We had a plan for it. And that comes down to our leadership and our IGN, who is our IGL, not IGN, not in-game name, in-game leader out of Spoopy Goopy, letting the team know what they need to do, letting the team know the plans going ahead, so that way, you know, we're not just winging it. We're not just kind of throwing ults all over the place. Everything is coordinated. We're doing things with a purpose. That's what you love to see out of a competitive team.
Oh yeah, bye.
Oh, sorry about that. And thanks for joining us today. It was lovely to have you here, and we will see you guys next week. I believe it's Thursday is the game against Baldwin. Yes. That Tiffin University is playing, and we will see you guys then. And Rocket League is playing Wednesday night at 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
9 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. And thank you guys for joining us.
Yes. Till next time.